Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Last week I mentioned that this week is the second program of Rashag. We're dedicating last week and this week in memory of Harav Chosid Shmayahu ben Menachem Mendel. His yortzeit is Vov Adar. He passed away Vov Adar Rishon Tovshim Mem Tes. And this program is a hemshech to the last week. His connection with his kashrus to the Rebbe, we spoke last week, and his Mesiras Nefesh to the yeshiva. And we mentioned that we have letters here that he wrote to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe answered, maybe I'll share with you some letters. Here I have a letter that, he had a stationery. His stationery is Harav Shmayahu Gorari Chasna de Beinisiya Kvekdushas Admur Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Shneir Melabavich. This is a letter he wrote. He used to write like this: Kveit Kedushas Gisi Admur Shlita. This is to the Rebbe. This is a letters from the Chofs. And he asked for people for Arichas Yomim, and people that have parnosa problems, people need brachas for children. It was very ibrig gegeben zum Rebbe. And he signs Gisei. He also left, he gave the Rebbe a copy, he left a star matone on his nechosim and a tzavo, a will. And this is handwritten, and the will, I'm not going to go through this whole will, but the will, he left everything to Agudas Chasidei Chabad. That's his will, Agudas Chasidei Chabad. The Rebbe wrote, and this is my father-in-law translated in English, Chov Gimel Adar Aleph Tovshim Mem Tes. He passed away Vov. And the Rebbe writes here, this is to a dinner of Lubavitch Yeshiva. This year annual dinner is taking place within the Shloshim of the passing of my esteemed brother-in-law, Rabbi Shmayahu Gorari of blessed memory, lifetime chairman of the executive committee of the United Lubavitch Yeshiva Teim Chatmimim. His sole assignment, which was conferred on him by my predecessor, my father-in-law, the Rebbe of saintly memory, from the first day that the Central Yeshiva was transplanted on American soil nearly 50 years ago. As is well known, the deceased carried out this assignment with real dedication and successfully with God's help. Obviously, the Nifter would not have wished to have the annual dinner of the United Lubavitch Yeshiva postponed because of his physical absence. And indeed, his spiritually is even more soulfully present now, and is certainly a source of great satisfaction for the soul to see its deed in this world carried on, and even more than before, after it can no longer perform them directly by itself. This is the letter that Rebbe wrote on a year after the Stalkos of the Rashag. There's also letters here that people send the Rebbe, and the Rebbe answered. This is an answer from the Rebbe. On behalf of Lubavitch community and in my own name, I thank you for your kind expression of condolences of the passing of my esteemed brother-in-law, Rabbi Shmayahu Gorari of blessed memory. Your thoughtful sentiment are sincerely appreciated, and the Rebbe gives him a bracha about Rashag. There's also another letter here. I thank you for your kind expression of condolences on the passing of my esteemed brother-in-law, Rabbi Shmayahu Gorari. May he who consoles Zion and rebuild Jerusalem bring true solace to all his people, Israel. And the Rebbe goes on. And then there is people from Eretz Yisrael. This is from the Reish HaMamshola, Yitzchak Shamir, then Kibalti Divri Hatadchumin L'Rag Ptiras Gisi Arav HaGoyen Arav HaChosid Shmayahu Gorari v'Yirotze Rashi Menachem Tzin Ubeini Yerushalayim Yinachem Am Yisrael Nachom B'Kefayim U'Bekorev Mamish Yikuim HaYihud and there's much more over here that people send the Rebbe So and the Rebbe answered. Meirendike answers. Now the Rebbe writes that since the Freidike Rebbe made him the Rosh and Vada Poil of Tebichet Mimim, which was established his father, the Rebbe Rashab, and now the Rashag is the Menayel which moved to America, and it's through his merits the students, Tebichet Mimim, grow up and become Neiros Lahoyer, lights to enlighten. Today, Vov Truma is Neshama Lamailo is doing the same thing, and even more than before. So before the Rebbe writes, it was Bechitzonius. His hashpah to the Talmidim of Tebichet Mimim was more superficial because he was a Neshama in a guf. But now it's even more Bepnimius, more than before. And through the thousands of Talmidim, they are learning Nigla and Chassidus and spreading Yiddishkeit. So when it comes to his Yortzeit, everything is Oilel Mailo, even more than before. This is what the Rebbe writes. Now here, I have over here, the Freidike Rebbe asked Rabbi Mindel to translate in English the last, I guess, Sikha that the Freidike Rebbe said in Tovshin Yud for Tomchet Mimim. And the Freidike Rebbe wrote here with his handwriting. Very interesting. I'm just going to read one paragraph. I'm speaking of Torah in general, and this is especially appropriate for Tomchet Mimim, which is an old institution founded by my saintly father, that means the Rebbe Rashab. With tears in his eyes, he prayed that the institution flourish in the merits of the saintly ancestors, and the students be provided for material and flourish spiritually, and that the supporters of this institution and their families be blessed with material and spiritual blessings. His blessings is being fulfilled at all times. The whole thing, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. And then the Freidike Rebbe, with his own handwriting, writes, and this is my son-in-law, Harav Shmaryo Gurari. So we can see that the Rashag, he wasn't Stam HaMensch, he was a Greiser Mensch. Now, talking about his Yortzeit, I want to, and also what the Rebbe said, that everything that a person does in this world, he also does in the other world. So I just want to share with you a story, and maybe I mentioned it once. My father-in-law, Rabbi Mindel, lived in Long Beach, Long Island, and he davened in the Young Israel. Now, talking about Young Israel, I think we have to have a few programs, what the Rebbe wrote to Rabbonim of Young Israel, about the Tayerkeit of Young Israel. The Rebbe had gehalten from Young Israel. The Rebbe said, but Young Israel's, every shul should have a mikveh. Because you're saying Young Israel, that means young people. So young people need a mikveh for Noshim and Anoshim. Anyways, that's a couple programs by itself. But he davened Young Israel. There was no Chabad shul in Long Beach. Davened Young Israel. Came to Oleinu every day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By Oleinu, people already had a half a foot out. They went to catch a train, to take the Long Island Railroad to go to Manhattan to work. What did they do? They took the Siddurim and they put her just on the bench, just like that, all over. Now, Rabbi Mindel stayed extra. Everybody left. First of all, he stayed extra because he put on a Ben Tam's film. They didn't. And also, he stayed even extra. You know, he was a very Mesudadik person. He said it's not a good anhogya to leave the Siddurim like that. And he was not a Shamish. He was not a Gabbai. He went to every seat. He put the siddur back on the shelf. So there's somebody, her name is Willie Wolf, Oliver Sholem, I knew him. He came over to Reb Nissen Mindel, and he said, Reb Nissen, you are the Rebbe's personal secretary. Imagine the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You are a very busy man. He was a very, very, you know what Rabbi Midal accomplished in this world? Busy man. You have time every day to put away the Chumash and the Siddur? You have time? So he told him that once, and when he goes to take dictation, he took dictation, all the letters of the Rebbe, is Rabbi Midal's Loshen. He took most of the letters, he took dictation. So he told the Rebbe that the Rebbe spoke to him about young Israel. Told the Rebbe that every day, 15 minutes, he stays extra. So the Rebbe told him, whatever you do in this world, you do in the other world. You're a maskir in this world, you're a maskir there. You put away the Chumash and Siddurim here, put away the Chumash and Siddurim there. So I want to bring this story. Another story I want to say, and this I heard from Rabbi Leibel Groner. The Rebbe, 1953 or 54, after the Rebbe became Rebbe, he went to Menachem Ovel, the old Satmar Rebbe, Olav Shalom, Zechani Levrocha. He lost his daughter. So the Rebbe went, I don't know, Williamsburg, I guess, I don't know. And then, as you know, that the Satmar Rebbe came to the Rebbe to be Menachem Ovel also. This was Tovshi Chovei, when the Rebbe Tzechane, the Rebbe's mother, passed away. Anyway, so when the Rebbe came to visit the Satmar Rebbe, they were talking. And there was somebody, Rabbi Kotler, Olav Shalom. Rabbi Kotler was a Litvish Rosh Yeshiva. And he was sitting on the side. And then he turns to the Satmar Rebbe and he says to the Satmar Rebbe, "Vos Retmendo? What are you talking about? Let me hear." So the Satmar Rebbe tells Rabbi Kotler, "It's nicht for dir. It's not for you. This is, I guess, they spoke Kabbalah. He was a Nigler, spoke Kabbalah." So anyway, so the Satmar Rebbe then, as the Rebbe, when you come to Menachem Ovel, why do you say Hamokim Yinachem Eschem? Mokim means a place, because the Eibishter is called Mokim. But why use the word Mokim? The Eibishter has a lot of names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem. Why the word Mokim? He wanted to know. So the Rebbe told him, Avot, I heard from Rabbi Groner, that every Yid has good deeds, and every Yid has a place, a Mokim, in this world. Mokim means God, Hashem, but Mokim means also place. Every Yid has a place. That place is not here, because the person is nifter. The person is not here. Before, the person was in a neshama in a guf. His hashpah was limited. Now that Mokim should be Menachem. That place, that place already, it's not begashmis anymore. Now the nechama is beruchnis. What we see, what that person accomplished in this world, that Mokim is Menachem. That's why we say the word Hamokim Menachem Eschem. There's no emptiness. Anyways, this is what I want to tell you. Avot is talking about Nichum Avelim. Going back to the Yeshivas Tebchet Mimim, the Frierdiker Rebbe that made the Rashag Yoshev at Apayel. So the Rebbe, just to finish off, the Rebbe mentioned he made the yeshiva. Why is it called yeshiva? The Rebbe says yeshiva should have been called Talmud Torah, Sefer. There's a lot of names. Why does he mention the word yeshiva? Yeshiva means sitting. That's all it means, to sit. And by the way, in many Litvish yeshivas, people stand. Learning is a mitzvah. So each one has a stender, and they stand, and they learn at stender, but we don't. But why is it called yeshiva? So the Rebbe answers like this. I wrote down what we wrote in English. Yeshiva means hisyashvus, settlement. A deliberation when something that is embedded in the students for life. This is called yeshiva. So what yeshiva accomplishes is for life. That's what's called settlement. And befrat, the yeshivas Tomchet Mimim, where they learn Nigla and where they learn Chasidus. And then they are Fotzos Habayonis, they spread Yiddishkeit throughout the world. Bochrim, then Yingalite, until 120, this is the credit to Rav Shmayahu ben Menachem Mendel Gorari. Schuse Yogin Aleinu, and I want to say Kitzu Varananu Sheikh Neofer, Vahu B'Seicham, that we should have Tchis HaMeisim B'Kor of Mamish, and it should be Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu B'Kor of Mamish. Yimitza Hashem, next week we'll continue our Thursday night program. Thank you.